The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.
I'm cross this morning.
Why is that?
I spend the whole of my life charging stuff up so I can get onto social media.
Absolutely.
Charging my phone,
Yeah.
charging my tablet,
Yeah.
charging my laptop, charging this, charging that. So you can get on social media, so you can interact with people. Why can't we just talk?
Talking is good.
Just a phone and talk.
And a notebook.
And a notebook. I went skiing last week, as you know.
Yeah.
And I took a paperback. And I read a paperback. I had no computers, no social media. It was lovely.
Oh, it's so different.
Yeah. Because social media is starting to infiltrate and really,
Yeah.
take over
Yeah.
our sort of whole lives.
Exactly, and you're always tapping away on your phone there.
Do you like social media?
I'm a little bit social media reticent, actually. I haven't really done it. My daughter set up a Facebook page for me, and much to her frustration, I don't use it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, let's look at this social media, because obviously it has a big impact when you're dating,
Oh, yeah.
because, you need to use this sort of stuff as well to sort of communicate. So we've got a couple of experts on the programme.
The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.
The research has come up with some quite interesting statistics. I mean, one of the most hopeful, and for me personally a huge relief, is that over 72% of respondents genuinely believe in true love. So that's one thing not up for grabs, which is great. But the other, I think, key research is that, social media is playing more and more into how people are conducting their relationships. And I think that comes in with slightly more mixed blessings.
Yes, because what we discovered was that almost half of Londoners, 47% of them, were more likely to show social media affection rather than public displays of affection. So this does suggest that more and more people are seeking to conduct their relationships, their real intimate relationships, on social media. And David and I aren't quite sure whether that's a good thing.
No.
And we have seen the research also done a few things about what a successful relationship. What has it found?
Well, what it's found, and we've grouped them into 5 themes, is that couples who have a certain amount of spontaneity in their relationship, couples who are good at paying attention to each other, and that would also include switching off your mobile phones, couples that are very good together, that are very comfortable in silence with each other, couples that have pure relationships that really focus on the essential things, the simple things in their relationship, and couples who are not afraid to be vulnerable. Those are the relationships that stand the best chance.
You mentioned mobile phones. Say if you're going on a date or someone you just met, it's really bad if you just sit there on your phone. You've got to turn it off, haven't you?
You have. And preferably turn it off and put it in your pocket or your handbag. Although we have heard of people who put the mobile phone in the middle of the table. Everybody puts their phone in, so each member of the couple puts their phone in the middle of the table, and whoever reaches for their phone first has to pay for the meal. That's quite a good test.
I like that one. That's quite good. How important is physical attraction?
Well, surprisingly, or interestingly, should I say, it's very low down on people's requirement for relationship. It's around 4% as being crucial. Sort of sense of humour, feeling, that you have similar interests in common. These are actually much more important. And I think, obviously physical attraction gets the ball rolling, so to speak. But I think over time, intimacy maybe does, pan out to become less significant. But actually, as long as you have these other sort of key connections between you both, then the relationship really does have hope.
And would you say that the ideal relationship differs between men and women?
Interesting. What do you think, Lucy?
I think it does, because men are more visual and women do have certain insecurities. We know that nearly 1/5 of women do worry about their partners seeing them without makeup, for example, and men would obviously not really think in those terms. But it is true that both men and women have a fear of being vulnerable. So that's not a gender preserve. You still find that 30% of individuals, would not be very real from the very beginning of a relationship. They're always holding something back, and that doesn't really matter whether you're male or female.
Would you say that it's important not to hold something back?
Well, I think as the relationship develops, I think inevitably when we first go on dates, we're presenting a slightly idealized version of ourselves. We're very concerned, what am I wearing the right clothes? Have I put on some nice fragrance? We're presenting the best versions of ourselves, and I think that's very healthy and very natural. Over time, inevitably, that mask starts to slip, and we show perhaps a slightly more warts and all, more real version of ourselves, which is inevitable. We can't sustain a relationship with a kind of idealized version of ourselves. And I think, letting the masks slip is actually a really important part of the relationship developing because it becomes more real. And once we allow our mask to slip, then it's giving permission to our partner as well. And there's a much more genuine connection between you both.
And if we just go back to social media, would you say that going Facebook official with a relationship is a big step nowadays?
Yes, no, I think that is the modern way, that if you want to alert people, in the old days, you probably had to get to a proposal and put the announcement in the Times or the Telegraph.
Well, that was David Waters and Lucy Beresford, and the study was by Hagen Das, looking at social media and relationships. Quite interesting, that. I think it's got to be a combination of sort of the old school of ringing people and, not writing these days. I haven't had a letter in years, have you?
Oh, I think a love letter is such a nice thing to receive, Rod.
We should bring that back, start a campaign.
Absolutely.
Love letters.
Bring back the love letter. But I think it's really exciting. They said 72% of people believe in true love. That's so hopeful, isn't it?
But also, I think this sort of 1 in 5 believe a relationship based on social media is as meaningful as a face-to-face one. I'm not sure.
I don't really accept that. Yeah. I think you have to conduct a relationship one-on-one in the physical reality.
I thought it was interesting because it reminded me of you, because when he's talking about the mask slipping, to begin with, you came in here, high heels, perfume, hair done, looking absolutely like a sexy bombshell. But you've let it all go now. Do you remember The Good Life and Felicity Kendall? Jeans and scruffy clothes. You're coming in like that? What's happened? Your mask has slipped, Debbie.
I know, it's mucking out the pigs every day is doing it.
The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.